You'll only break an arm or something. And that's no. Oh, did he? All right. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
2, 3. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very good. You're hired.
Hey, when I have a cold, I can get those really deep notes. Really deep. Good morning, everyone,
Good morning. Good morning.
and welcome to Unity Center of North Spokane. I'm Jeff Taney. I'm your spiritual leader, but today I'm actually I'm going to serve as a platform. Now, first and foremost, what I want to say is for last Sunday, we had a town hall, and we gathered together, and we're 35 of you here that went through the process of developing, inspiring, creating a new name for our center. And we navigated in the consciousness, the process. Everyone had an opportunity to voice and their opinion and their desires. We voted peacefully. And the results were Unity Center of North Spokane. Now, I want to make sure people know we are no less divine. We are no less love. We are no less light. We are no less spiritual. And we're no less a church, because we are a community and practitioners of the Christ consciousness. So I just want to thank you all for your participation and your desires and all of that. It was amazing. And I'm kind of practicing something today, and I'm going to go through this here. So I want to welcome those here, but also those online in our worldwide community, because we know people tune in and watch us at different times, not of the day, but also of the year. So we thank you. We are about touching hearts and transforming lives here at Unity Center of North Spokane. I want to begin with something new, and that's a time of an opening affirmation. Now, Reverend David McClure has taught us all OPGGO, and we're going to open that together as an affirmation of bringing us center. And our opening affirmation is this, and I want you to say it with me. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and the universe, God the good. This is Unity's foundation principle. One presence, one power, and one life, living through and as each one of us. Our music today is provided by Sandra and Chris, as well as Nikki on our vocals. In a moment, they're going to be leading us through our community song. But first, we want to take an opportunity and to greet one another and our neighbors. So if you guys will just take a brief moment, listen for Sandra's cue, because that'll be the cue to come back together so we can do our community song. So together.
Greetings, Earthling. I don't know, but I hope it's soon, so I don't have to try to keep everything wrapped up. Hello, my dear. Good to see you again. You look cute as always. Well, thank you. Yes, please do, because I would be interested. Hey, Michael. Isn't this a funky thing? I know.
It's so after my own heart.
Oh.
Thank you. So glad you're here.
All right, but you can't sit down. We are going to do our community song, correct? You should know by now, what is this, the third week? God in everything. So please stand and join me.
Everywhere I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. I can feel it in my beating heart.
Sandra, I love that song. I sing that song to the week too because it's just so
Peppy.
snappy and meaningful. And when I'm driving, I see God in the person in front of me and the person behind me. This morning, we are honored to hear from Reverend David, and I know Donna's in there too. But Donna is going to be, Reverend David's going to be sharing his message, All the Weavings in Our Lives, and also be talking about his new book. And I think we recognize just really how much a part of this center you are. I know South Hill's your home church, but we look at you as being a tremendous part of this center. And we are honored to be supporting members of that. And so with that, we have a little something that we want to honor you with and demonstrate that we are part of your team. So together, we are all going to reveal we are the 12th man, and we were playing, Julie and I have been playing this game all week of like, what could man stand for, right? It could be McClure's at North. That could be fun, right? Or it could be more abundance now, right? And so I'm going to ask you guys that if you think of other things, acronym, we could use MAN for, please let me know, because we want to create this list. But we just love you guys. And if it wasn't for a lunch at, I remember having pizza, and I don't remember what you had. It was pizza. All good things happen over pizza. But it was that man that encouraged me to take this step. So with that, Reverend David McClure.
Wow, this is awesome. Hear all this and see all this 12 stuff. You'd think there was a reason for 12, the number. But it's completion, it's fulfillment, it's totality. And so it's a pleasure and a joy for Donna and me to be with you again this morning. Good morning, Spokane, as I usually say. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Well, and thank you, musicians, for your great contribution. Well, I was threatening you guys with this for quite a long time, and it finally arrived, and much to my joy and surprise. So I'm just going to read from the first page. Some of you have already read this, so you'll know what I'm going to talk about. But anyway, some years ago, a reporter asked the comedian Flip Wilson about his faith commitment. Oh, haven't you heard? He said, I'm a Jehovah's bystander. And a Jehovah's bystander, the reporter questioned. I've never heard of a Jehovah's bystander. What in the world is that? To which Flip Wilson replied, well, they asked me to be a witness, but I didn't want to get involved. So, whether you like it or not, we're all involved, but there are times in our lives when we feel like we are bystanders, watching our life go by, watching this happen, that happen, events around the world happen. And we don't feel deeply involved in our lives or what's going on in our lives, but all of a sudden things happen to us that we cannot but sit by and just say, isn't that interesting? We are totally and completely immersed and involved in that. And we find that it's a part of our lives. We find that it's the circumstances of our life, and we are established in it. One thing is for sure that I want, if you don't already know, we're not here by accident. We're not on this planet for accident. There is a plan and a purpose that was established for each and every one of us, even before we came to the planet. And I'm reminded of the words of the poet Robert Browning, who said this: "There is an inmost center in us all where truth abides in fullness, and to know rather consists in opening out a way where the imprisoned splendor may escape than effecting entry from a life, a light supposed to be without." There is an imprisoned splendor in you that is you, more than any circumstance, more than any situation, more than any relationship. There is this amazing imprisoned splendor. When I was first diagnosed in 2013 with stage 4 metastatic melanoma and given a mere 2 weeks to 3 months to live, I decided to sit down and put my thoughts in writing. So I did. I sat down 11 years ago, and while I realized that I wanted to write this book, I couldn't find anything to write about because this diagnosis was dominating the whole center stage of my life. And no matter what I would think to write from, I'd always come back to, I may be around here for 2 or 3 more weeks or a couple of months maybe. So I realized that this was not going to occur. It is my belief that I'm now in a position to think of ourselves and myself as part of a tapestry. And that's why I called the book The Healing Tapestry. A tapestry made by the master weavers are tapestries that are, of course, we know what they are physically. Maybe you have a tapestry in your house. Maybe you have one from your Aunt Matilda or grandfather or mother or somebody. But there's another way of looking at tapestries. Tapestries go way back. They go way back to medieval and even ancient times. And even before they were hung on walls, they were painted on walls or painted on caves, as I found when I was in Australia a number of years ago. These tapestries that are woven are made of many things. The real tapestries, of course, are made of threads that are weaved in both directions on a loom and are characterized by their complex pictorial designs. But what I discovered is, in writing this book, that my life is a tapestry as well, and so is yours. Something like this, my definition of a tapestry became this: something made up of different things, people, colors, etc. And there is a tapestry of ideas, or even a tapestry of the events in your life, that they are all woven together and they all have significance and meaning. You may think they're just happenstance kind of things that happen. Oh, that happened and this happened. There's a whole divine purpose in all of that. So, in the book, I describe your life and my life as a rich tapestry. You know, in Great Britain, people often say, whether you win or lose, your life and mine are all a part of life's rich tapestry. It was Walt Whitman who said this, and I will show you that there is no imperfection in the present and can be none in the future. And I will show that whatever happens to anybody, it may be turned to beautiful results. And I will thread a thread through my poems that time and events are compact, and that all of the things of the universe are perfect miracles, each as profound as any other. Walt Whitman. So when I was first diagnosed with this thing called melanoma, I sat down, as I said, to write a book, and my title was, But Wait, There's More, based on Ginsu knives and any of those things. Any of you have Ginsu knives in your house? But you've probably, Byron has Ginsu knives back there. Oh, no, okay. Anyway, there are all kinds of products. It still goes on today that they're doing something, and then you think there's the item and there's the price, and then they say, but wait, there's more, you know. So I was so overcome with my oncologist's diagnosis of me that I only had a few months to live, that there was no room for more for me. And so I couldn't remember anything that would be helpful for me to write about. So I didn't. It kind of reminded me of this couple in their 90s who were having problems remembering things. And during a checkup, the doctor said that you're physically okay, but you might want to start writing things down so you can remember them. So I like this story. Later on that night, this couple, while watching TV, the old man gets up and says, I'm going to the kitchen. Can I get you something? And she says, yeah, I'd like a bowl of ice cream. And he says, don't you think you ought to write that down? You might forget what I want. And he says, nah, I can remember that. And she says, well, I'd like some strawberries on top of the ice cream, if that would be all right with you. And but you better write that down. And he says, I can remember ice cream with strawberries on top. And she says, oh, by the way, I'd like whipped cream on there as well. And she said, now we're getting complicated, so write down this order that I've given you. He says, no, I will remember you want ice cream with strawberries and whipped cream. So he toddles to the kitchen, and after about 20 minutes, he returns from the kitchen and hands his wife a plate of bacon and eggs. And she stares at the plate for a while and says, so where's my toast? Well, the predicament that I was in at that particular point was I could not know where my toast was. I kept looking for my toast, and it wasn't there because I had this one-track mind that was going on in my life. Every one of us at some time in our lives has seemingly lost connection with your toast, with the threads that connect you with other circumstances and other people and your health and your happiness and your well-being. Then there came a game changer for me, and that was last year when I received an email from Reverend Ellen Davenport, who is the vice president of publishing at Unity headquarters. And she said, we're going to have a book writing contest. Would you be interested in putting an entry in our book writing contest? And it was though a whole veil opened up for me at that particular time. The floodgates opened up, and I began to see my life and Donna's in a totally different light. A series of threads that were themselves woven together in an amazing tapestry that continues to this day. Take, for example, Ellen Davenport. Don and I served for 7 years in Dallas, Texas. And at one point, we were in need of an associate minister, and so we looked around for a candidate for that, and we finally hired a woman by the name of Ellen Davenport. And she became our associate minister, and we love her, and we've known her for years. So finally, the veil was lifting, and a light opened up for me. And almost overnight, I began to piece together and stitch together ideas, thoughts, memories, people, stories from all parts of my life. The imprisoned splendor began to pour out of me. It was not only things around my body, but things around Donna's body as well. She's got a great body, by the way. But she was dealing with issues with her body, too. She had 2 episodes of breast cancer and 1 of colon cancer, so she was having these amazing experiences as well. So in my book, I share some of the threads of connection that helped me find meaning and helped Donna find meaning and purpose for our lives. You've heard some of these before in some of the talks that I've given out here at the North Church. Not the North Church, the North Center. That's the center, right. And some of you are here today, and you know the things I've talked about. Some of you are fairly new, so you, at the risk of being repetitious, I'm going to share some of these threads from our tapestry. We came here this morning because our lives with you are no accident. Our lives with you are a part of this divine plan. And let me start by telling you that Donna and I were married at the South Unity Center 46 years ago. And our ceremony was the minister that did our ceremony her name was Marilyn Ferguson. Some of you might remember. Nikki remembers Marilyn Ferguson. Oh, Marilyn Witherspoon. How soon we forget. Right? Yeah, okay, it's Witherspoon. I knew that. Anyway, she read this poem by Gibran to us, which goes, and you may have heard this, "You were born together, and you shall be together forevermore. You shall be together when the white wings of death scatter your days. You shall be together even in the silent memory of God. but let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heavens dance between you. We truly believe that we were born together and that we will be together forevermore, even in the silent memory of God. We have come to believe that our lives are interwoven with each other with a divine plan that is unfolding and will continue to unfold. Here are some of the other threads that have bound us together that I wanted to share with you that are in the book. When I was 7 years old, my mother received a package from her sister, Hazel, my Aunt Hazel, and in the package were neatly typed notes of a sermon given by an itinerant preacher in New York City by the name of Emmett Fox. Some of you may have heard of Emmett Fox. Dr. Fox ultimately began to preach at a rather famous hall in New York City called Carnegie Hall. And my Aunt Hazel wandered in there one day to see who this preacher guy was. She liked what she heard. She went up to him and said, "Do you mind if I take shorthand notes of your sermons and type them up and send them out to your mailing list?" And he said, "Sure, that would be great." So she did that. She sent out copies of his notes, and one of them was to her sister Norma, my mother, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And my mother and my dad, who were devout Anglicans of the Church of Canada, got freaked out by this great stuff that Emmett Fox was espousing, and they wanted to know if there was a church in Toronto that taught this kind of stuff. So they searched all over, and they found that there was a church way on the other side of 3 buses to get over to this place, on the other side of Toronto, called the Unity Church of Truth. And the thing that we finally discovered is that this church called Church of Truth was one of 22 churches that a guy named Albert Greer had founded. And the first Church of Truth, back in 1913, was established right here in River City, in Spokane. It's on 6th and Jefferson. And Nikki's been there before. Anyway, she was 4 years old when, not when he did it in 1913. You guys, you were there too. 1913 was when this first Church of Truth, and he established 22 of them all over the country, including Toronto and including Honolulu, Hawaii, another church that we served in when we were in Hawaii. So anyway, I mentioned that Emmett Fox lectured, and my aunt and thousands of people heard him in Carnegie Hall. And for a week back in 1964, another thread wove its way into our lives. A guy who came much later than Emmett Fox was a guy named Dr. Eric Butterworth. You may have heard of him, too, as another Unity minister. And he started conducting services in Carnegie Hall. And back in 1964, he and his wife decided they wanted to go on vacation, and they called me. And they said, "How would you like to come and speak in Carnegie Hall?" And I said, "Can a duck swim?" You know, wow, that would be great. So after a lot of practice, that's how you get into Carnegie Hall. You have to practice. I spoke in that hallowed hall on a Sunday morning with my parents in the congregation. You see how the threads weave themselves through? And that was 64, 65. That was exactly 100 years after Albert Greer was born. Meanwhile, back at the Unity Church of Truth in Spokane, which is located, as I mentioned, 6th and Jefferson, a family began attending there, and that included a young woman named Donna Beatty. And later she became Donna McClure, and later than that she became Reverend Donna McClure. And so there goes that thread. And then at one amazing point in the tapestry, the Church of Truth, ta-da, became Unity Church of Truth. And that happened back then. Meanwhile, here we go again. Back in 1975, I was ministering in San Francisco, and the phone rang, and it was a woman by the name of Sherry Barnard, and she was president of the board of Unity Church of Truth in Spokane. Are you following this? Okay. She said there was a vacancy for a minister in her church, and would I be interested in trying out? And I said, yes, I would be interested. So I flew to Spokane and was met there by Sherry Barnard and the outgoing minister, Scott Sherman, and his wife. And I realized at that time that Sherry, I had met years and years before when I was in YOU, Youth of Unity, and had attended a youth conference at Unity Village, and there was this beautiful, cute-looking blonde, 15 to 16 years old, and her name was Sherry, and she was Sherry Stoven back then, and her parents became ministers at Unity Church of Truth. And Sherry married a guy by the name of Kim Barnard, so she became Sherry Barnard, and Kim was the architect of 29th and Bernard, where we hang out from time to time now. So the other thing that happened when I was trying out, I was staying at Scott Sherman's home, and he took me for a tour around his grounds, and while we were out front, a car came roaring down the street and zoomed by, and this beautiful blonde waved from the car. And I said, "Who's that?" And he said, "Oh, well, that's Donna Beatty. She's a member of our church, and you'll probably meet her after this at some point." So I did, and that was 46 years ago, or thereabouts. So here we are this morning, in this moment, and we are all, each one of us, a part of the Unity tapestry. And Jeff and Julie and all of you are part of that thread that has connected us in many, many different ways. As much as our lives seem to be thrown into disarray, there are other energies that are bringing us close together in unity. Stuff has happened to us all. We've had our healings, our ups and our downs, but our lives are woven together in good and for good. Some of you used to attend South Hill Unity, I'm sure, including the founding minister of this ministry, Rich Broderhausen, and so many others. And one fine Sunday, several years ago, Rich invited me to come out and speak to this group. And we've been buddies and partners and connecting fibers of this tapestry ever since. So as much as my life seemed to have a plan and prepare for what's going on, your life is part of that plan as well. Stuff may happen to you, through you, for you, against you. You may think it's against you, but it's all a part of that divine tapestry that is bringing you closer and closer to the one presence and the one power, the OPOPGGO. So that's what I wanted you to know today. And, you know, it all started with Myrtle Fillmore. She had a death sentence given to her, and that's what she called it. It was consumption back then, or tuberculosis. And she went to a lecture, and she heard a guy say, "You are a child of God, and you do not inherit sickness." And that blew her away. And she wrote those words down and took them home, put them on her bathroom window, or mirror. And every day she'd say, "I am a child of God, and I do not inherit sickness." Well, she had been given a sentence of only a few months to live. She lived till she was 86 years old. And her husband, a guy named Charles Fillmore, he was impressed by this, and he started reading and studying to try and see what was going on. How did this happen? And he couldn't find anything. They were all conflicting ideas. So eventually, he put down his books, and his famous words were, in this Babel, I will go to headquarters. I think those were his words. He said, "I'm going to go directly to headquarters." And headquarters to him was within. And so he started meditating at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he started coming up with ideas. He started writing them down, and Charles and Myrtle are the founders of this thing that we call unity. And I'm so glad that you have kept unity in the new name that you have for this place. It is our thread that joins us together. And so, what I want to close you with is these words from Rainier Maria Rilke. If you come across her, read some of her stuff. She says, "Destiny itself is like a wonderful wide tapestry in which every thread is guided by an unspeakable tender hand, placed beside another thread and held and carried by 100 others." So it's great to be threaded with you and weaved with you and loved with and for you. That is my message to you this morning. Bless you. I know you guys have already jumped the gun and gotten my book from someplace in Unity headquarters, and so, but we brought a few. If any of you are interested in the book, we have a table back there, and we have whether you purchase one or have one, we'd be happy to autograph it for you if that would be helpful to you. We're charging a little more than you guys charge. We're charging $20 for the book because we have to pay sales tax on our book. So, and we are only able to take cash or checks, just so you know that. Anyway, it's time to meditate, so let's do that. Let's take a few moments to get still and be still. and know that we are one with the One. And being one with the One, you know that your life has a purpose and follows a plan and a pattern. And there is not an event, not a person, not an idea, not a happening, nothing that is not a part of that plan and purpose. There is an intricate tapestry that you have established from the beginning of your life, even before you came to this planet. Feel your connection to the one presence and the one power. Another thread that has weaved my life with this one presence and one power, and some of you know this thread too. It's called A Course in Miracles. And in the Course it says this: let us be still an instant and forget all things we ever learned, all thoughts we had, and every preconception that we hold of what things mean and what their purpose is. Let us remember not our own idea of what the world is for. We do not know. Let every image held of everyone and everything be loosened from our minds and swept away. And so for a few moments, I want you to become totally innocent of judging yourself or any other person, and just allow them to weave themselves into your life and know that they are a part of a plan and a purpose. Now do you know him not? But you are free to learn of him and learn of him anew, and he is born again to you, and you are born again to him. This life that you live is a vast and intricate tapestry. A journey made up of many events, memories, people, and experiences that have shaped who you are. Into this tapestry are moments of joy, accomplishment, challenges, and personal growth. Into this tapestry are woven all the decisions you've ever made or are about to make. Your life is a symphony filled with high notes and low notes, all of which are shaped to fit into your life with resilience and with harmony. There is a purpose and a plan to your life, and it is unfolding. Trust it. Trust the Master Weaver, and know your life is blessed to be a blessing. And that's the way it really is. Amen.
Well, we'd like to do a song that talks about weaving. I think it's one some of you will remember from Peter, Paul, and Mary. And this was a suggestion by David. So you're welcome to join us on the chorus. Very simple, and we're going to repeat it like 1,000 times. Okay, maybe not 1,000. All right. 2, 3, 4.
Weave, weave, weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow and fill my cup again. Weave, weave, weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow and fill my cup again. Well, I've seen the steel and the concrete crumble. Shine on me again. The proud and the mighty all have stumbled. Shine on me again now. Weave, weave, weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow. Fill my cup again. They say that the tree of love will shine on me again. Rose on the bank of the river of suffering. Shine on me again. Weave, weave, weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow and fill my cup again. If only I could heal your sorrow, shine on me again. I'd help you to find your new tomorrow. Shine on me again now. Weave, weave, weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow and fill my cup again. Weave, weave, weave me the sunshine out of the falling rain. Weave me the hope of a new tomorrow and fill my cup again.
Ah.
Thank you. David, Reverend David. I just love, well, I love you, but the tapestry and the weaving and the threads is such a beautiful way of seeing one another and seeing how we can come into people's lives, right? And I think of it as like John's a thread, Luke's a thread, Jerry's a thread, April's a thread, Melwin's a thread, Daniel's a thread, Kirsten's a thread. We're all threads that get to be participants in each other's lives, right? And it's just such a beautiful thing. Part of me listening to you was stuck in this visualization imagery I had going on of this tapestry that we create, that we call Unity Center of North Spokane, and we call Spokane. It's just beautiful. So thank you so much for that. in your heart, and I know your co-partner here is part of that. Part of that. Now is our time of offering, and I know we have people, seasoned people here, and we have new people here. Our offering time is a time of tithing. It's a time of giving, and in our mission and our desire to grow the unity movement, because as I said when I first came here, that I believe the unity movement is as relevant, as important today as it's ever been. In the 50 years of the movement, it's as important today. We need what the community and the world needs, what we have and what we're about. And not that you need this, but I believe our community needs people like us that are peaceful, that are loving, that are kindness, that just operate and weave ourselves into people's lives. And this is our opportunity in our tithing and in our giving to make sure that we are continuing that mission and we're continuing that movement moving forward. I was doing a little research. Actually, Julie helped me with some research. And in metaphysical terms, tithing is a practice of giving a portion of one's resources, typically 10% to the source of spiritual nourishment. But it symbolizes trust in a divine abundance and the universal flow of giving and receiving. And I'm very adamant that you give freely. This is not a time of feeling pressured, but it's a time of giving at a time when you feel this is something that you desire, that you want to do. And if there's any apprehension, then stop. Because it was Jesus that said, when you come to the altar to give a blessing or a prayer and you think of someone that you need to reconcile with, stop what you're doing. Because making that restitution or that reconciliation is more important than sitting there and giving that gift or that blessing, because that's the work. And that's how things are changed. And so the same thing goes when we give. If we're giving from a place of freedom and gratitude, that gift has so much more meaning and is so much more personal. So tithing is just not about the money, but it's in gratitude and honoring the spiritual source that sustains one's lives. It reflects faith in the infinite nature of divine supply. So with that, we are going to ask the ushers to step forward as we do our time of offering. And we're going to acknowledge our blessing here, and that our giving with intention creates an energetic flow through your mind and heart, creating more abundance for both the recipient and the giver. So, you, Sandra. Together, our blessing, a love offering blessing. Divine love in, through, and as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you. And this morning, Stephanie has been serving as our chaplain, and she has been holding the service in prayer and holding space for us. Stephanie will be available immediately after the service for anyone that wants prayer. If you have a heavy, something heavy on your heart that you would like to share, or a celebration that you would like to share, please come and see Stephanie. Stephanie's in the back, but she'll be up here in the front. Also, if you have a special prayer need, in the back of your seats are a little paper that you can fill out. We take prayer seriously here, so you can fill out and place it in the box. Know that these prayer requests are prayed on here locally for 30 days, and they're also sent to Unity Worldwide headquarters, where they're also prayed for there. Unity has a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week prayer ministry, and someone is there praying in the tower every minute of every day of every week. So know that those prayer requests are taken seriously. And so this box will be up here if you want to give her prayer, or you can also see Stephanie. Thank you. Now we do our unity statement, and together we say, unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, and the many ways to worship God. For there is one power, one presence of God, and that God loves each one of us equally. It is therefore the position of unity to urge all nations, their leaders, and their people to turn to God by whatever name that they use, and to pursue peace, not war, for this is what honors God of all our faith traditions. Thank you. I want to recognize first-time guests or visitors. If you are visiting with us either for the first time or have come back from a period, if you don't mind, would you just mind raising your hand so we can acknowledge you? Thank you. I met April and Elwin, but I haven't met you, and I'll be sure to meet you after. We do have, after the service today, our licensed Unity teacher, Dan Zoller, will be conducting a kind of an intro to Unity. So if you have questions or want to understand what Unity is all about, we are not a religion, we are a movement. And there's a difference, because we don't have dogmas and all those sort of things. We just have a different way that we move through based in Christianity. So if you're interested to know more about that, please stay and see Dan. Dan, would you stand up just so in case anybody's got questions? Thank you. Okay. And then the other thing is we have announcements, which I get the pleasure of doing announcements today. Move forward here. Okay, so we have Stephanie is going to be doing we're in week 2 of our chakra class, and I'm not sure if she's starting for the head down or the feet up, but she's going from the feet up. Okay, so coming week is going to be week 2 of chakras, and Julie came home. I wasn't able to attend, but she came home with like a packet of information that I haven't been able to read yet. But Stephanie does it's a tremendous job in explaining what chakras are. I've served in another class she did on madras. And if you're interested in learning more about chakras, please be sure to join us on Wednesday, the 23rd at 6 o'clock. And it is every Wednesday. And then the second and fourth Sunday of every month at 4 o'clock, from 4 to 6, we have our Unity Sacred Circles. And those are for people, anybody can attend. Doesn't even matter if you even go to church here or not. It's just an opportunity for people to get together and just talk about maybe what's troubling them or what they're struggling with. It's just a way of us being community with people in community. And so if you're interested, please be sure to join us at Unity Circles. And then Day of the Dead celebration, Dia de los Muertos, is next Sunday. And I know, when I first heard about Day of the Dead when I was younger, I didn't understand it. I just thought it was some satanic thing that people were doing. And I didn't understand it because I came, as you know, from a Christian background, and it was skull, so it must be evil. So therefore, stay away from it. But this is such a beautiful celebration. Have you seen Coco? How many have seen the movie Coco? Okay. If you've seen Coco, it's a Disney Pixar movie about the celebration, and it's about this little boy. But anyways, I wish I could say it more beautifully rather than saying Day of the Dead, but I'm struggling with my Spanish. But it is such a beautiful celebration because it's a way of honoring, so as a young person, we would go to the cemetery, and I would see families at the cemetery with lawn chairs and having a picnic. And I'm like, why are people having a picnic at the cemetery? This is so sacrilegious and so ungodly, and oh my gosh, they're like, but they were there celebrating their loved ones, their past loved ones. And it's not a time just to celebrate like your aunt or your uncle or your mom or someone, but it's also our pets, right? For a lot of people, their pet, I know you got a couple of Siamese cats, they're as close to you as any children could ever be, right? And it's a way of celebrating those. I have a lab that went through 2 divorces with me, and she was my most loyal, faithful companion, and in her last days, I couldn't be there for her. But she was such a beautiful light in my life during those times. And I'm going to celebrate Misha at the celebration. So please hear that this celebration is a beautiful, beautiful way of honoring our loved ones and celebrating that. And the Mexican heritage and what they do is absolutely amazing. South Hill we're going to be doing this with South Hill, so it's a collaboration. We're going to be doing the food, and we're looking for volunteers to help us maybe with some of that. But it's a beautiful thing. The last 2 years that we've done it up there, we had a mariachi band, and let me tell you what, you put a mariachi band of about 8 or 10 people in that center playing, and it literally, the roof, it comes alive, and it baffles up there. So it's an amazing celebration. I strongly encourage you, if you have any apprehension about it whatsoever, please come see me, see Julie, because we've experienced it the last couple years. And I will say one of the important parts of it is at the beginning, we have the opportunity to go to the altar, and we place at the altar a picture, a memento, maybe it's a service ribbon of someone, and they are being honored during that time. And the reason why they put food out there is because maybe, like my mom made kolaches for me when I was a little boy. It was a Czechoslovakian thing. And if I knew how to make kolaches, I would take a kolache and put it on the altar as a remembrance for my mom and their tradition. We're going to be talking more about it. I don't mean to ramble, but I just really feel like it's a very strong thing for us to be involved. If you have any apprehension, please come see me and talk to me about it after. Okay, so our kids are like anxiously waiting in the quiet room, being very quiet, but oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, I forgot this. Okay, how am I doing? Okay, so in honor of doing David's book, we as a church are going to do David's book in November. So what I mean by that is we're going to read it, and as each week, we might have questions that'll be part of the newsletter. But on the second and the fourth Sunday, Reverend David and Donna are going to be here with us so that after service, we can have a little book study, and talk about what we've been reading, what we've been learning, have an opportunity to ask David questions, and I'm sure he's going to have some insights to maybe those chapters as we go through that. So please put that on your calendar, and remember, that's a very special thing that I was really, I asked David if we could do that, and he was like, oh, sure, by all means. And I said, can we do a love offering or something for you? Nope, it's just part of me selling a book. He's so cute. But anyways, we're greatly appreciative of that and looking forward to that. Okay, now I can go to the kids. I'm getting one more. Right, yeah, oh yeah. So with the Day of the Dead celebration, we will not be here. So if you come here, the doors will be locked. There'll be no cars in the parking lot. But please know, we're going to be at Unity South Hill, and it starts at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. So you want to be there about 9:30 or so to get in, and you know, it's that service is the most attended service of the entire year. More than Christmas, more than Easter, that service is the most well-attended service. So be sure to be there early and on time. Okay, am I forgetting anything else? Yeah, that's on the invite, and it's in the newsletter. It's 2900 South Bernard, corner of Bernard and 29th. Okay. Anybody else got anything for me? Okay. All right, now we got to bring our kids in.
You are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. You are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
Hello, Kendra.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. We are continuing our lessons on different cultures and spiritual aspects and beliefs of those cultures. And I'm kind of trying to lead the kids up to next week because we're going to, as Jeff just mentioned, we're going to the South Hill Church to celebrate the Day of the Dead. So can you hold up your pictures but be still? So they're decorating, coloring pictures. And we continued to put together our altar. Elizabeth. We continued to put together our altar. Please come in and check it out. And just a reminder that people can bring pictures or little mementos of their loved ones if you're going up to the South Hill Church, or even to put on our altar in the kids' room. Thank you.
Thank you, Kendra. All right, so this is our time to give our children the blessing. We say together, God loves you and accepts you just the way you are, and I love you and accept you just the way you are. I behold the Christ like you are. And to you folks and kids, thank you, kids. You may return to those that brought you. As we stand for our peace song, followed by the prayer of protection.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, found
God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. That's the truth.